We're here for the weekly watch. White Lotus, Season 3, new podcast. Here with Caiden Young. What a beautiful man you are. Caiden, we've got episode 1, Season 3, White Lotus just came out last night. Pretty excited. A lot of hype going into this. We obviously watched Season 2 together. White Lotus, I love it. It's weird. It's very different. And I'm very excited. I enjoyed episode 1 as well.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Definitely still on the same premise of like starting off with a bang and then going back in time and then not a ton happening. I feel like there's some interesting plot points going on right now. Like some people are starting to look a little shady. And there's looks like going to be some weird romance situation going on early, but yeah, overall, pretty good first episode. Kind of excited for next week to see what happens.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the common thing with the White Lotus, like it's kind of a slow burn, I would say. You get a lot of stuff like this first episode was more or less kind of setting up the characters, kind of showing everyone that's at the resort, and they do it every season. They have 3 groups. This year, it is the family, the dad, Timothy, wealthy businessman, Victoria, explained online as Xanax mom. We have the 3 kids, Lachlan, who's the youngest, I believe, middle daughter, Piper, and the oldest son, Saxon. That's the first group. Then we have the 3 ladies, Jacqueline, Kate, and Lori. And the last one is Chelsea and Rick. Any one group stand out to you through the first episode? Again.
Yeah, I'll do 2 different ones. I think the one that stands out the most obviously is going to be the Ratliff family, the dad that got the phone call about the Wall Street Journal, the 3 kids and the wife. Wife just seems to fall asleep a lot, and I feel like that the kids dynamic is going to get a little weird because the daughter definitely seems like she's kind of a go off on her own type, as we saw.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like she's going to get some locals. And then obviously the brothers kind of have a weird relationship going on there where I think the older brother is there to like he's trying to meet some ladies, and then he's talking about pleasuring himself in the bathroom and like having very open and candid conversations with his younger brother. And the younger
Is it
brother,
time for most uncomfortable scene in episode 1? We see this every episode. It's got to be that scene right there, right?
Yeah, when Lachlan's like kind of just staring at his brother. I don't think it's I think it's just. I guess he just looks up to his brother, I guess is the vibe I get. But
it's very interesting because
I feel like
obviously,
there's some fruity stuff going on.
he's going to pleasure himself in the bathroom. Doesn't decide to like close his door or anything or be discreet whatsoever.
Right.
He's like, you know what? I guess I can't do this in the bed. So I'm gonna go in the bathroom. Doesn't close the door until we have Lachlan, the younger brother, looking at him. And that's kind of like a weird scene. Like, are we gonna get some like I'm hoping not some disturbing like brother with brother scene. Like I don't need that.
I think it's kind of setting more up that the younger brother is going to be maybe gay because he didn't really seem all into the women when the older brother was talking to them by the poolside.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if that pops up.
That could be true. Or maybe it's just it could be that, or maybe he was just like, this is weird. And just like was like, why is my brother doing this? Although like I don't know why you wouldn't look away if you thought it was weird. Or maybe he was like looking up to his brother, or maybe he's like, I don't like this guy. Like he's weird. Like this is making like a stare down of sorts. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but we'll see about that relationship. I will say it's very interesting dynamic in that family because we have the dad. who is kind of, talk about a term, just like kind of a little bit of a douche. Um, Very rich guy. He's talking to his son and is all pissed off about where he's going to school. Sounds like he had some shady dealings here with his company.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Wall Street Journal called him up. Um, but overall, like, it was just little things like that. He obviously like cares about his family, so it's interesting to see where that character goes from there. You have the mom who's just kind of out of it right now, jet lagged, has been taking drugs and stuff, kind of out of it. Lachlan and Piper, the two younger kids, I would say they're very similar. Like, they seem pretty cool, very calm, like respectful kids. And then we have, of course, Saxon, who's kind of takes after his dad, maybe times two. Is kind of cocky, he's kind of an asshole. Like, he's funny, but he's just a little bit too much, man. And he reminds me so much of, I don't know if you thought of this, season one, the husband season one to Alexandra Daddario. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the
I feel
guy
like he's just
from
like that guy.
Divergent 4, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he reminds me so much of that guy.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. And then we have the next group. Do you want to hit on? I feel like the least screen time or at least impact, I think, was the three women. Um,
Yeah.
it was the three friends, Jacqueline, Kate, and Lori. And I think this is going to shift as we go. We saw Lori kind of break down in one of the scenes and cry in her room. I think
Mhm.
there's more that's going to be explored in that avenue. And obviously, like, Kate really looks up to Jacqueline, and it feels like she's almost like jealous to an extent. I think that's going to be exploited later on. I think there's going to be some interesting dynamics with that, but we didn't quite get a ton in the first episode.
Yeah. I feel like
And go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like Lori is she clearly doesn't really ever feel like she fits in with those other two. And the other two know that. And I don't think they're being like rude about it, but kind of just stating the obvious. And I feel like there's gonna be like a rift there or a fight that happens. And I also feel
Yeah,
like there's gonna be this group and probably what's his name? The older brother. I feel like there's gonna be something that goes on there.
yeah, because
Saxon.
you have the pool scene where he's just, that's very. If I had to explain the show to anyone, I would just say it's every episode an hour of just awkwardness,
Yeah, there's
and
a
I
lot of
kind of
awkward.
love it. But yeah, Saxon's hitting on the older ladies, trying to spark up conversation. Clearly, don't want to talk to him, and then he goes and talks to the other lady, Chelsea. Who at first we think there's some looks between them, like, oh, they might be interested in each other, and then she just totally shuts him out when he goes to talk to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very interesting, that contrast, and I love how like all these groups are gonna slowly like interweave throughout the show goes on.
Hmm.
Um, in our last group, Ken, I'll let you start with Chelsea and Rick.
Yeah. Chelsea and Rick, they're just I don't know. I feel like they're like the stereotype couple where it looks like an older guy and a younger woman, and she's kind of talky talk, excited to be there, and he's doesn't seem like he likes her very much. Rick is also um, a little shady. Talks about how he couldn't go to Australia, so maybe he's been doing some illegal stuff as well.
Mhm.
Um, we'll see how that story unfolds, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of suspicious stuff, and as we saw in the opening scene, that there's going to be an active shooter or something like that.
Mm.
I'm curious if it's people that are looking for him.
Yeah, I'm very interested with that whole dynamic, especially because they go to the resort, and the lady who runs the resort or is the owner. It seems like Rick wanted to meet her husband for something. You know what
Yeah,
I'm talking about? And
yeah.
he wasn't there, and he was all pissed off. So there was some kind of deal he had going on there that wasn't able to happen. And another part between, so obviously, like, Rick is annoyed because Chelsea's, kind of constantly talking, like getting on Rick's nerves. and Chelsea's annoyed by Rick because Rick is just like really grumpy all the time.
Mhm.
So it's interesting there. Another part here, Rick and Timothy, the businessman,
Yeah.
dad of the family, very interesting so far. They've had two little run-ins. I think we could see something down the road potentially with that whole thing.
Mhm.
So yeah. Caden, want to go ahead and get to our top three characters thus far? And I'm not saying the ones I like the most, but ones I find most interesting thus
Yeah.
far.
Well, real quick, I think a little duo we're kind of overlooking is Chloe and God, what's his name? The other guy from season, I think 1 and 2. He was Jennifer Coolidge's husband.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
I feel like those two are going to play a pretty big role here. Like he's obviously, as we know, like a very sketchy guy, and this lady is very different than Jennifer Coolidge and her character. So
Yeah,
curious to see what happens there. But
I would say the most disappointing of this part of the show so far is we don't have Jennifer Coolidge.
yeah,
Um,
we have
that's about
Mook,
that game.
we have Mook, and we have Guy Talk. I feel like they're going to be a very tragic death at some point in this show. Unfortunately, I
Yeah,
feel that's kind of what it's setting up to be.
no, yeah. So I was joking about Jennifer. I feel like both of us. I like her in the show, but like as much as like she was a essential character in the last two seasons, I feel like I really enjoyed a lot more of the screen time between, let's say, the family and the new couple in the first
Mm-hmm.
series, and the weird contrast between the two business friends and them in the I'm talking about in the
Yeah,
second season,
the
Aubrey
IT guy.
Plaza and Theo James and that
Yeah,
whole group. Um, but yeah, so she's out of it, which I kind of enjoy. Very happy we had Belinda back though. I thought she was a very cool character in season one. So
yeah. And she's still doing the same thing that she was, spiritual journey kind of person, and it seems like she's here to further that. And her son's going to be meeting her there. Seems like a good, nice duo of people that we're going to have throughout the season. I hope he gets to go there soon. But Belinda is, um, I mean, Jennifer Coolidge did promise her a lot of money, but Jennifer obviously passed away
yeah,
in the last season. But
and we're gonna get to some more of those predictions in a minute in terms of death. But let's start with our top three characters. Ken, do you have your list?
I do
I
not have my list,
I
but
can start. Let me start then, so I'll give you some time to think about it because I just made it as well. But ooh, it's tough. Number three right now. I'm gonna go with hence every one of these characters, minus maybe one, are probably not the best characters so far in terms of morals, but the most interesting so far. I gotta have Saxon at number three. I just found him to really capture these scenes that he was in. He was in several, and he was able to do a lot of stuff in the scenes. Just he was kind of a jerk, kind of cocky, but also
Mhm.
like very, very funny. Is what the three terms I'll keep using for him. Um, yeah, and just reminded me so much of the fiance from season one. It's actually crazy, and I'm excited for it.
Mhm.
I thought that character was great. So
For me, I will go with. Um, I would say the most interesting character for me is going to be Lori,
like it. Okay.
just because she kind of sticks out in that friend group, and I feel like she's going to kind of want to do her own thing, and I do feel like there's going to be a lot of beef in that group throughout this vacation, um, especially with the differences in money. It seems like with her and her two friends, she just kind of seems like the odd one out. Um, as I think Kate or no, it was Jacqueline. Jacqueline was like, "You make everything look so hard. Like it's not for like a lack of talent or knowledge. It's just she might not have been as lucky." So I feel like there's going to be some interesting things going on there.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. She just missed for me. But definitely one of the more interesting characters, especially from that group of friends. Um, number two for me, it's tight right now, and it's only one episode in, so it's kind of tough to do. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with Timothy, the dad of the family. I just found his character to be really, really interesting, and it's a guy who I think could potentially be someone, obviously a very successful businessman, very cutthroat,
Mhm.
and we take that term to the next level because we know there is murder in the White Lotus. And he obviously, him and Rick might be going at it when it's said and done. Um, Also, yeah, I just found him to be an interesting person so far through episode one.
He's also on my list here too.
Yep. Good
He
pick.
seems like a likable guy. Seems like he
Yeah.
likes his family, and he kind of just is there to work out and support his daughter's thesis writing journey.
Yeah.
Um, but we obviously see him get a phone call, and he picks it up. Just kind of to be nice. And I feel like there was an awkward moment at dinner too. So stepped
Yeah.
out, took the call, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of drama going on, whether it be calls from other journalists or trying to figure out how he's gonna deal with it because he's trying to push it away, but we saw him call somebody else and was like, "Hey, call me when you get this." Like he wants nothing in writing, so I feel like it's going to be a good plot point, and a guy that'll do anything for his family. I feel like you said, could get kind of cutthroat, and maybe there's some hostility between some of the other characters in the family, and he's going to try to step up and do what he needs to do.
Yeah. I think one of the parts about him in the first episode, you kind of saw, oh, like I really like this character. He seems cool. He's successful. He loves his family. But then you also see kind of the dark side. Like he's got this shady business dealing, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
He freaks out at his kid for not wanting to necessarily go to Duke, which is just the right choice. Like, don't go to Duke. But it's very interesting the two sides we've seen of him so far. So I like that pick. Number one for me, I'm gonna go with Chelsea. I think Chelsea is a character that I really want to learn more about. Her and Rick's relationship. I felt like she was the more charismatic character so far between her and
Mm-hmm.
Rick, and I just feel like she's going to be an essential character going through this series. And yeah, she's funny. She's kind of annoying. She's off the wall, crazy energy. I just really enjoyed the scenes that she was in. So I have Chelsea at number one right now.
Yeah. I have at number three. I have Chloe. Um,
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
I feel like the introduction of her late and the ties she has to the character that has been in this show 2 seasons prior. I feel like there's going to be some things going down. I feel like she's going to kind of be at the center of it. She seems like she's pretty smart. Um, yeah, I feel like she's going to
Yeah.
be. She's a fun character. She is funny, witty, and I'm excited to learn more about her because I feel like she's one of the people we know the least about.
Yeah. No, I really like that pick. I think it's one of those characters that's kind of outside the main three groups. Like her, Belinda, and who's the guy she's with? I forgot his name, but I think those
Belinda,
three are. What's up?
the guy Belinda's with, or
The
oh,
guy that Chloe's with.
I don't. He's not like popping up on my little list here. Um,
Oh.
but
He's the guy that was with Coolidge the first season.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that guy might be big, and then also totally spacing, but the one worker who we see multiple times, and people
The
say like how
security guard.
beautiful she is.
Oh, Mook.
Yeah, Mook, is that the name? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think those four outside the main group are going to be really pivotal characters. But I'm going to go ahead and make my first pick. We'll do it every week. We'll see if it changes here and there. about who we think is gonna kill who. Is there gonna be multiple murders? Maybe. I'm just gonna make one pick right now, and I thought of it, and it's. I don't think it's too crazy. I don't think it's too far fetched right now. It's gonna be two of my favorite characters so far. I think Chelsea is gonna kill Timothy.
Chelsea's gonna kill Timothy. Why do you
Yeah,
think that?
we'll write these down. Rick is going to be beefing with Timothy throughout this whole series, in my opinion. IMO. And I think what's going to happen is Chelsea's going to get to a point with Rick wanting to defend Rick. And maybe we have a situation where she overhears Timothy plotting to take out Rick or something, and she goes after him. But Chelsea takes the matter in her own hands and kills Timothy, the dad. No longer. He's dead.
Interesting. These websites I'm trying to look up. I'm trying to find this guy because my internet's not going great.
You're good.
Oh, it's getting very annoying because I know this guy. All right. Anyway, killing people. I think Rick is going to be killed by Timothy.
Rick killed by Timothy.
Yes.
All right.
I do believe. I just think there's going to be some shady business dealings and there's going to be some prying and he's not going to want to deal with it. And he's going to snap and kill him.
What if somehow, how Rick is in these dealings right now that we're trying to figure out? What if it has something to do with Timothy's dealings and they overlap and then realize, oh God, that's Rick. He got the source for our stocks we traded illegally. I gotta take him out. It would be cray cray.
Cray cray.
Cray cray.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same boat where it's like a business dealing kind of thing. The guy's name is Greg, by the way. Greg Hunt, played by John Breeze.
Wait, it's not Rick?
No, Greg, the bald guy.
Oh yes, yep.
Yeah.
So
he was a lurking villain in season 1 and season 2.
Man, he was okay. I was trying to remember if he was in season 1 as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So after week 1, I have Chelsea killing Timothy. Caiden has Timothy killing Rick. I like it. I feel like we're gonna be way off. Because there's gonna be lots of spins and turns throughout this. I can see Lori doing something. I don't know. Who do we want to die? What's the first character we want out of this series?
I'd probably say like one of the 3 ladies. Jacqueline, maybe.
What if we take
they're not like super interesting?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't name anyone right now. I know that's a cheap way to get out of it. I guess Victoria, she just hasn't done much yet. Mom.
Yeah.
Or maybe Rick, because Rick is gonna get on my nerves, I think, as we go.
I hope Victoria gets a bigger role because I feel like
don't
know about her at all. Like she's just the lady who's falling asleep.
Yeah, I think she will as we go on. Yeah, but good first ep. I like it. 8 or 9 out of 10. I thought it was really solid. I think it's land the framework for the rest of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go ahead and hit on some more stuff next week after episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta learn the song.